Hello folks, today we have a Harvard 400M, which is that. Quite an unusual set which uses the CB240 chassis as used in the Eurosonic Euro 1, Eurosonic Euro 2 and the Albert CBM1. I had started on Albert CBM1 but unfortunately needed a part which I had to order. So we'll do this one instead. Now this is one that's previously come in for service some years ago, and at that time I was unable to get the correct relays for these, so that's an RS replacement relay, which is a bit of a faff because it doesn't fit the printed circuit board, so it had to be put on legs, but it's actually a better quality component with gold plated contacts than what is originally fitted. However, I've tracked down the Taiwanese relays and these days we have those. Right, we're going to start with the VCO on this, and on these sets it's set on channel 20, and the test point for the VCO is TP1, which I'll just zoom in on. And TP1 is next to the you've got transformer 10 there, you've got test point 1 which is somewhere down there. Can I see it on the monitor? I can, it's there, just there, and the VCO coil is that one just there, which is L3, and what we do, we set it to channel 20 and we're looking for 2.8 volts. So hopefully the meter is in view. So we'll put the prod on there, going to transmit, and we'll just bring that up to 2.8. And that will do nicely. That is the VCO set. That's all there is to that. I like to see that these things are in lock, and I'll just do that off camera. Right, moving on to the transmit lineup now. Having done the VCO, which as I say was transformer 3 there, what we're now going to do is move on to transformer 2. It seems to be a bizarre way of doing this lineup, but that's what it says in the service manual, and we do have the full service manual for these. Well, it's labelled as the Albert, but it is the same product. So we're just going to see what we've got. This is just in for general service. It was last in 5 years ago, and it's actually doing, good grief, it's actually doing 5 watts on this. So that's peak. So that was transformer 2. Then we move on to transformer 4. Then we move to transformer 8. Then on to transformer 9. And then we move on to to the variable capacitor number 1, which is that one there. And in this instance I'm going to be turning it down to 4 watts. When you're working on a set like this, the output transistor is an MPSU31, which is a Motorola custom device. They're very hard to come by and they're very expensive. I always unkey between the various stages when we're setting up the transmit. It's good practice anyway, because if there's a highest SWR interstage, the last thing you want to do is to knock out a device which is as hard to come by as that. And it's another reason we're making sure it's not doing more than 4 watts, is because we don't want to thrash that device. That could easily write the set off. So the next thing we're going to do is we'll just pop it onto frequency. So that's done with variable capacitor 2, which is down there at the front. It uses a Sanyo LC7137, so it's a single crystal arrangement. And we're on 2799083. It's dropped off frequency. They always drop low. Crystals drop with age. So we'll just pull that up to something a bit closer. And that's 99123. Just touch that again. 2779123. Yeah, that'll do nicely. So that's back on frequency. The next thing we need to do is the deviation. And the deviation on these sets is done with variable resistor 2, which is just there. Let's get the oscillator out. See what we've got there. So deviation is variable resistor 2. That's reading 2 dead. It's a bit dirty. I'll just use the cleaner on the deviation potentiometer preset in there. That looks to be right. I'll check it with a quick whistle test. Yes, that's spot on. So that covers that. I'm just going to recap, because I'll tell you what we didn't do. We didn't check that the meter was doing the correct alignment for 4 watts. We'll just check that. It needs to be in the middle of the red zone, and it isn't. So we'll just do TX meter. And the meter adjustment is the preset number 1, which is at the back here. Don't know whether we can just get that so you can see it. There we go. Now that's a dirty preset as well, so we'll just clean that. Sometimes these radios have been in a smoking environment, and the nicotine leaves a film of gunk on the electronics. We used to run a television business many years ago, and we found that smoking households, the television used to last a lot less than in non-smoking households. You know, when the high voltages which you had in CRT-based televisions. So that's done that. That's now spot on. I'm just going to check that the low power, which is adjustable on these, is doing 400 milliwatts. No, it's not. It's doing 1.2 watts. So we'll just pop that down as well. And the low power preset is this one here. Again, we've got a dirty preset. This is what this radio is suffering from. There we are, that's now set for 400 milliwatts. Put it back up to high power. And that concludes the transmitter on the Harvard 400M.